When I was young, newly married, somebody in my immediate kind of circle, she actually asked me, do you think you could share some of your story with some of our young women? Because nobody talks about this. Out of that grew a feeling of like empowerment, or there was something about it that started to feel like healing to me. And that began that very slow process for me of telling more and more honestly and vulnerably about what had happened to me, until I was living in Los Angeles and had talked about doing a film. The reason I told my story to the documentary filmmakers was because I believe that the first part of healing, you have to somehow get your story outside of you. Telling someone who will believe you, who will acknowledge and absolutely for sure not to question the validity of your story is like the very first part of healing. And so I thought maybe if I share my story in such a public way, maybe that will empower other people to do the same to their best friend or to their one person that they know they can trust. I just think you have to get it outside of you.
When you saw it for the first time, were you surprised?
Having the chance to put it on film in a documentary format was really an amazing experience for our whole family. All of our interviews were done in private. We weren't there listening to the other person. So for me, it was like this emotional roller coaster where I wanted to protect my family. I wanted to protect my parents. I was like, oh, we can't put that in there. Why did my dad say that or talk about that, or my mom? Because I immediately went to that place of protecting them, which was the same thing that kept me quiet for 4 years as this whole thing happened to me, as I was protecting my family.
Let's talk about forgiveness.
Okay.
Was forgiveness something that you felt like you had to do?
If somebody doesn't relate to the word forgiveness, I say, okay, how about relating to the words let it go? Can you relate to why holding on to something is only punishing you? It's only putting you in a prison.
So you knew at some point in your healing that you had to choose to let it go.
Yes, I had to definitely choose. There was a time when I was angry just with myself, like, why didn't I know more? Why didn't I see through his story and that this wasn't real? People ask me about my parents for not knowing or not seeing something. There are years in my early 20s when I was writing my life history for an English class in college that I got so angry with my mom and then my dad, and different times during those few years, I could call them and tell them and scream at them on the phone and cry my eyes out. And all they did was accept and acknowledge me. They didn't defend themselves. They just listened. I knew letting go meant freeing myself. That doesn't mean you don't press charges and put the perpetrator in jail. What I think happens so much of the time is a person equates forgiveness with, well, they don't have to be held accountable, or they don't have to have any consequences. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that you forgive so that you're free, but they need to go to jail. They're not free. It's not a free pass.
Did coming to that realization help you move on with your healing?
It did help me find what I consider to be full closure. There's something about letting go and forgiving somebody that allows you to be in the driver's seat of your life again.
Where are you in your healing now?
I think that I'm in a pretty darn good place, that for the first time in this last maybe 3 or 4 years, I just feel ready to like start this movement. Like I want to be at the forefront of getting the message out there.
What was your thought when you looked into the Unique Foundation?
My main thought when I looked into the Unique Foundation was like, oh my gosh, everything that I've been talking about and everything that I've been saying for 20 years, somebody is put it together. They're doing something that is exactly what needs to be done. And look, they're not only saying it, but they're finding a way to get this information, the therapy, the groups, the retreats to the people that need them the very most. And that person doesn't have to worry about costs and money and expenses. They can just go, I want to be healed or get on my healing journey, or however you want to say it, and I can go here and get that done.
If your parents would have had somebody in your community that was an advocate, would your childhood have been completely different?
It could have been. It really could have been.
How important is it that parents understand prevention?
I have people that will still say, but I have this amazing relationship with my children. We spend lots of time together. They tell me everything. You know, I don't do sleepovers. They'll go through kind of the list. And I'm like, great, all good. Fantastic, keep that up. They don't think it can happen to them. Oh, that's not possible. That teacher got Teacher of the Year last year. That's grandpa. So they dismiss it. Go look at Defend Innocence. Educate yourself. There's so much good information there. Go to that website, not because you think something's wrong, but all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, I never thought of that, or oh, I never saw that before.
Do you identify yourself when describing yourself, so your personal identity, as Jan, the little girl that was abused? Or do you not anymore?
You know, I really don't. I really honestly identify with being a survivor, but more than being a survivor, I identify with being an advocate and an activist and a motivational personality that can tell others, you can do this. There is hope on the other side of this. There is a path to your healing. There is a wonderful life waiting for you.
I want to know about how your life is now.
Life is good. Yeah, I have a fantastic son that just graduated. My step family is growing. They're having babies, and it's fun. I run a theater that is right here in southern Utah, out in Ivins, Utah. It's called the Center for the Arts at Kayenta. I'm the executive director, and our mission statement is about bringing diverse artistic endeavors to this region. I still act. I have a couple of Hallmark movies that I just finished that are out on Hallmark, and I have a really good life, and I'm a happy person, and I'm so grateful. I really am. I really am very lucky.